Hello everyone, Luke here and welcome back to the channel. So I've got this, and this actually used to belong to my granddad who's no longer with us. So I actually went up to my nan's house not too long ago and she said that I could have a route around the shed, have a look at some of his old tools and take whatever I really wanted. So this thing really caught my eye, and the reason why it did so much is because I actually remember him using this. He was actually a jack of all trades. He used to mainly be a plumber, installing showers and doing all of that sort of stuff. But in his spare time, he used to be a DJ and even used to build houses. So just because of that reason, I feel like this absolutely deserves to be restored because it reminds me of him so much. And with that being said, I feel like it's time to take this thing apart and see if we can bring this back to its former glory. So let's do that. So here's what this thing looks like close up, and mechanically everything still works quite nicely. It's a bit stiff, but I can pull it out, and as you can see, it's still measured in inches, which proves how old this thing is, considering in the UK we use the metric system. If I turn this anti-clockwise, it will start rolling this thing back up. So after further examination, there is literally only one screw, which I believe is holding this entire thing together. So let's get this thing undone. Here are all the contents of the tape measure, and there's actually not a lot that goes into this thing. So after a while of trying to pry it, I just decided to give this a nice squirt of WD-40, leave it for 10 minutes, drink my coffee, come back, and I was actually able to pull this thing apart. So let's start cleaning the individual components. Here are the four main components that I'm going to be cleaning up first, and what I'm going to do is grab an IPA wipe and just use one of these to get off the majority of the muck and the grub. And then once I've cleaned it up to a sufficient amount, I'm going to be using the Miracle Cleaning Solution, which I did a video on, and the number of that video is 1037. And that will just get rid of all of this rust that's around the rim, and it should bring it up to spanking new condition. So let's get these cleaned. Everything's starting to look much cleaner now, so I've got my Miracle Cleaning Solution right here, and we're just going to take off these bits of rust. So these metal pieces have come up absolutely lovely, and I'm really glad that they have. So now what I'm going to do is put these to the side because they're looking absolutely sparkling. And the Miracle Cleaning Solution did a really nice job of getting rid of the rust on this rim. You can see that it's nice and shiny again, and if I put it together, it's just going to look really nice with that band around it. So what I've got to do now is put this in a very mild cleaning solution overnight to make sure that I can get all the grub in between this texture. So that's what I'm going to do. So while the case goes in the very mild cleaning solution overnight, I've got to start thinking about how I'm going to clean up this tape measure. And I can't use anything too aggressive because it will end up rubbing out the numbers on here, and that's not what I want. So I think what I'm going to be using is a very weak solution of IPA and water, maybe around 30%, and then just lightly go over it until it starts coming up clean. So let's do that. Now the tape has been cleaned, it's looking absolutely sparkling. Everything else is clean as well, including all my little fiddly bits. So now it's time to actually put this thing back together, and I don't think it's going to be too difficult. So let's do it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my little windy bit, stick it back into the top of the case, so it looks like this, and then I'm going to unravel my tape measure until I get to this point, and then I can basically sit it in correctly and then wind it back up, so it should fit back in the case really nicely. So now that this has been partially wound, we can actually finish putting the case together, and once the case is together we can fully spin this back up and bring it back to its former glory. So let's do that. So after a while of trying to remember how this thing actually went back together, I know the construction wasn't that hard, but it was the little fiddly bits to make sure that everything fit correctly again. So I finally figured it out. I had to put this little steel band back around, put the little guide roller back in, and now hopefully I should just be able to put this over the top and everything should just clip back together like so. And there you have it. This is what it looks like now. It's fully been put back together. I'd have to admit, it's almost up to its former glory. I mean, we've got a few little chip marks in the powder coat, but because I obviously don't know how to do that, I can't re-powder coat this thing. But I feel like it adds character and it really shows where it come from, which I really like about this thing. So now this is just going to be put in my toolbox. I'm definitely going to be using this for the big jobs. As you can see, this thing still works. Like so. Which is awesome. And with that being said, that does bring me to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this one because it's been a fun little thing to do for me. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them all. Anyway guys, I hope you have a great day and I will see you later.